Welcome to another episode of the Trusted Podcast, where we talk about the most important goal as a parent of teenager is becoming trusted by your teenager. When you earn your teenager's trust, they are more likely to talk to you when they're happy, sad, angry, confused, which is what every parent wants, to have their teen talk to them, and more likely to listen to what you have to say, which is another goal of parents. Like, you've got so much wise wisdom and sage advice. If they would only listen to what you have to say. When you are trusted, they are much more likely to do both of those things. So I'm always talking about how you can become trusted. I now have the Trusted Challenge at the beginning of each month that is an introduction to ways to become trusted, which then after that, you have the opportunity to join the Team Trusted membership, which is a group of people who are talking and collaborating and normalizing the challenges of parenting teenagers all together. And that is my ultimate goal, is that you can feel that joy with your teenager. That's what you want, isn't it? What you want is to have that long-term relationship with your teenager. Listen, maybe you're thinking you're skipping off into the sunset. That doesn't always happen for everyone, but long-term, you want your teenager to feel safe with you emotionally, to be able to talk to you, to know that you're not going to freak out when they say something, both as a teenager and long-term. There are a lot of young adults that are going no contact with their parents because they didn't feel safe with them as a teenager, but they feel like they didn't have a choice and they had to just comply and obey and do whatever it was to not set their parents off. And then they're coming adults and they're like, I actually have a say in this now. I can choose not to put myself in an emotionally unsafe place because I don't trust my parent. And it's happening over and over. I have seen it time and time again. I have talked to people that are going through that. It is a painful process for both parent and child. And when your teenager trusts you, when you build that emotional safety net, it carries into their adulthood. It's this beautiful experience. I have young adults myself. My oldest just got married. I am learning to aim to become trusted by my new daughter-in-law. And it's a journey that I am grateful for. And I recognize a lot is on me. I don't need to expect her to just trust me. I want to earn that trust. I digress. But what I really want to talk about today is the question of the day that somebody sent. And I wanted to read it directly from the question box that I got on Instagram, because I love seeing these questions, and it really helps. So if you ever have a question that you want me to answer, I will answer it to you individually when you ask it. That's my goal. And then I will bring it up onto the podcast because I know a lot of other people have some of those same questions. Okay, so the question that was sent to me was, well, it was kind of a comment, but it's a question. My 15-year-old boy got his permit and is eager to drive us everywhere. And then there's this emoji of kind of terror and fear and sadness and all of these things. So I really wanted to talk about that because it's one of those things that's not really discussed very often, is the teen driver. I think what is discussed is how scary it can be. And while at the same time, it's like parents everywhere are relating to kind of the fear that happens when teens are driving. And at the same time, we got to rein that in for the sake of our kids. So I wanted to talk about 3 specific things as it pertains to teen drivers. Okay. The first one is, when you have confidence in them, they will have confidence in themselves. Confidence, confidence, confidence. I hear from parents almost every day, how can I help my teenager build confidence in themselves? And I actually created chat cards, teen confidence chat cards, with 50 scenarios to talk about how to build your teen's confidence. I will leave a link to them below. And they're really a great way to start the conversation, to have your teenager think about having confidence in themselves. So one way, teen drivers, when you have confidence in them, they have confidence in themselves. And I recognize you're not feeling that confidence at first. And so how you act in the car, which, listen, it's hard. I am on my 4th teen driver teaching them how to drive, and every child has been a little bit different. I've been nervous and scared for a variety of reasons. One child, I was nervous because they were overly confident, that I thought they were a little too overconfident. And they're like, Mom, why are you holding on to the bar? Oh, no reason, nothing. Don't worry about me over here. And the other one didn't have enough confidence in themselves and were at a stoplight and the light turns green. Can I go? Can I go? Can I go? Yes, the light is green. You can go. So it is a lot of practicing patience. And what I have to say to this, like my daughter right now, she gets so excited to drive everywhere we go. And I will say, I kind of like being a passenger princess, but at the same time, it is a little bit nerve-wracking. If you are nervous and don't feel like your child's ready for the big roads, you got to practice more in parking lots. The best place to do that on the weekend, high school parking lots, they're huge. On the weekend, they're empty. Church parking lots are empty many weekdays. Maybe they're more filled on the weekend. And so think of places that have bigger parking lots that you can just drive around over and over and over until you feel a little bit more safe. And then practice on the neighborhood roads where it's not as big of a deal. There's a stop sign. There's not as much traffic before you go onto the bigger roads. And recognize, yes, it is, for some teenagers, it's exciting to have this freedom of, something they wanted to do for a long time. And at the same time, it's nerve-wracking, and you're worried about your own personal bodily safety, and you're worried about the safety of your car and dents. I validate that concern and worry. And at the same time, you got to have, when you don't have that confidence, they're not having confidence in themselves. And so when driving is a huge confidence builder or reduction for teenagers. So think about that. And sometimes maybe that means if you're not feeling like you can have that patience, I've heard people say, I can't do that with my kids. I have to have my husband do it. So sometimes that's not as much of a possibility. And sometimes that means, I know here in Colorado, different from where it was in Texas, where I taught my boys to drive, you actually have to either wait 6 months after 16 or pay for the driving service. I can't think of the driving school. And I was actually really grateful for that, because I think it was really helpful for my daughter to have another voice of, and this one is like a voice of authority more because they're the driving school. And that helped her build a little bit more confidence and not feel like, always had to go through me. So something that might be beneficial if you decide you want to do that early on. When I was growing up, that was all that there was. There weren't parent teachers. It was only a driving school. So consider that. So number one, it builds their confidence. So you need to have confidence in them so they can have confidence in themselves. And you need to think about how you can go about doing that. And a big part of it is that I actually don't, I have it in my third comment. So number two, it is trust building. And so I took some notes here. I'm going to pull that up just a little bit, talking about trust. When you overreact and show visible fear, it can cause your teen to feel like you don't trust them, which can strain your relationship. On the other hand, staying calm shows that you believe in their ability to succeed. So it is a really great opportunity for trust building. And since we're here always talking about how to become more trusted by your teenager, think about the way you respond and the way you act, both when they're in the car and the jokes that you make outside of when you're in the car. Just joking. A lot of people have sarcasm in their family culture, and just know that when you have sarcasm in your family culture, it likely is cutting them deeper than you even realize. You're trying to, quote, toughen them up for the world. The world is hard enough. Let's have home be a softer place. I'm going to get off my soapbox for a minute, but I actually have a whole module on sarcasm inside of Team Trusted and how it breaks trust. But when you, so it can be a very trust building opportunity when you're teaching your teenager to drive. So number three is modeling calm. Yes, it is inherently a stressful situation that you are willingly putting yourself into. And when you can practice calm, not only is it helping them feel more confident, which is our number one, but it's helping model to your child how to be calm in a stressful situation. And listen, you maybe need to have a pep talk at the beginning. Say, listen, I just want you to know it's nerve-wracking for me to teach you to drive. So I'd like you to have a little bit of extra patience with me. I might hold on to the side a little bit, because sometimes your kids are going to say, Mom, why are you doing that? Because that does have a tendency to stress them out a little bit more. And sometimes it's just a natural response. And so when you can have a little pep talk at the beginning of each drive, hey, listen, it's a little stressful for me, not only for our personal safety, but for the safety of the car. I just want you to know I am excited for you. In all cases, whenever it stems from a compliment sandwich, but in all cases, when you can say something positive, something constructive, and something positive. The positive here to start with is, listen, I know that it's exciting for you to learn to drive. I remember when I was learning to drive, how fun and exciting it was. Validate the experience of it being fun. And at the same time, it's a little nerve-wracking for me. I am doing my best to stay calm, I do have confidence in you, and it's a little scary. Two things can be true at the same time, right? It's a little scary for me, and I have confidence in you. Please be patient with me. Let's be patient with each other as we're learning to drive. Sometimes I've heard people also say, my teen gets mad at me or doesn't listen to what I have to say when I'm instructing them. Like, okay, listen, if they're going to be that way, you need to have the pep talk at the beginning. Listen, last time we drove, you didn't like it when I suggested that you turn right, or I didn't say it soon enough or whatever. You didn't like it when ... happened. And I'm teaching you to drive. It is a very dangerous activity. And let's be patient with each other as, we're learning together. And when you're not freaking out, why did you turn there? Why did you do that? Why did you step on that? Why didn't you go? Those are the freak outs in driving that we try to not do. And when you can respond in a calm, cool, and collected way, which, listen, I validate is challenging. Like I said, have a pep talk at the beginning of each drive so that you're kind of on the same page. That you're trying to be calm and they're trying to be calm. Let's all try and be calm together. And yes, if you're on there's different rules in different states. Maybe they can't drive the whole family. Maybe they can only drive with you. But if they're excited about it and you feel like they're in a pretty good place, you got to take that leap. You got to take that leap and give them that space to do that. And if you're not feeling like they're ready, then take some more circles around the parking lot, take some short drives in the neighborhood. Some of you are thinking, wow, I'm terrified for that day. I'm not even there yet, but it's going to happen in the future. Listen, just know it's exciting for them. And at some point you're gonna be able to send them on errands. There's some great perks and benefits to it. So that's what I'm going to close with today. There was a question asked from the community. I love it when you ask me questions. Send me an email, send me a question on Instagram, and I will answer you individually. And then I'll answer on the podcast because I know people want to hear it. I'm always grateful for your reviews. I haven't had that many since I started this new series in under 10 minutes. So thank you for being here. Thank you for sharing with your friends. You can do this. Become trusted by your teenager. You can have that long-term relationship. I know it's possible for you.